Hello, good afternoon. We are here today to talk again about the market, our daily index evaluation of the North American markets. We use technical analysis, and those presentations are an example of how to use basic knowledge of technical analysis to interpret the market movements. Well, let's go to Metastock, and let's start with the S&P 500. We have here a chart with the S&P 500 index. I have some vertical lines that represent cycles in the market, meaning distance between tops and between bottoms. And we had a cycle around very close to the top, to the recent top, February top, and the market started to trade down. I mentioned here before that big drop we had February 22nd. I mentioned that we were approaching a cycle where I would expect major retracements in the market, not a change in trend, but a retracement still. So we started trading down, and we have been following this. On Friday we mentioned that we reached the support level, but my expectation was that the market would trend lower this week, and it looks like, at least until that moment, it looks like the market is really going to trend lower, and we might be reaching a bottom in a few days. Maybe by Thursday or Friday we might reach a bottom. It might be a longer term bottom or just an intermediate bottom. The market action after we reach support will indicate if it's a bottom or not. What I don't like looking at indicators is that I see the market losing momentum. I see a lot of increase in the bear power, in the bear strength, and we might go for a trend change. It's not certain yet. We need more action to make sure the trend really changes, but it's quite normal that in larger retracements we have that indication of a possible trend change, but the trend did not change yet. I still consider all that movement as a correction. Let's take a look now at the Dow Jones Industrials. Also very similar behavior. And Friday I mentioned that we found some support in that region here that corresponds to this top, but I mentioned also that my expectation was that we were going down this week, and we should find support in that 11,800 region. Let's take a look at the Nasdaq. Well, the Nasdaq also is trending a little bit down. It's not at the support region. I mentioned Friday that my expectation was that we are going to find support around here, 2200 something, 2230, 2240, 2240. So that's where I expect to find some support, and all the indices are showing some indication of a potential trend change, and the trend change from an uptrend to a downtrend, but we don't have a confirmation yet. For me, it is still a correction. I don't see a major trend change. Let's take a look now at the United States oil funds. I mentioned last week that the oil was reaching a very important support level, and I was expecting at least a sideways action today, and that's indeed what's happening. We have a sideways action, and depending on how the market closed today, we might have an entry along in oil this week. The season is favorable to that type of trade, but I don't see enough volume yet to show me that we have enough traders really betting in that type of movement for the oil, in other words, an upwards movement for the oil. So I need to see more commitments. I don't see enough commitments yet. So I'm still waiting. I see a very good change to have a long trading oil this week, but it's not an entry yet. Another company that has an interesting chart today, it's the National Bank of Canada in Toronto. We have here a clear, it's clear that National Bank found support in that region. It broke Friday's high, and a very good chance to be to give an entry today according to one of my trading systems, and that's very important. I do not trade news. I do not trade like what the guru says. I trade what my trading systems indicate, and one of my trading systems might indicate today an entry. And it's very important to have a trade system, to have a trading plan, because that will include also all your risk control, initial risk, and trade management conditions. So when I enter trades, I know exactly what I'm getting out, either at a loss or at a profit. So that's basically how I do my trades. Another company that might be giving some indication of trend, of going back to an upwards trend today, it's Exxon in the New York Stock Exchange. There is still a lot of strength in Exxon, really a lot of momentum, and I see a good chance that we have an entry sometime either today or later this week. Friday I did not show the analysis for Exxon, but my clients heard my analysis, and I mentioned that Exxon might be finding support in the 50-day moving average. So basically that's a good setup, and it's not I don't have the trigger yet, but the setup is there. Well, basically those are the analysis that I would like to show you. This week, the type of setup that I expect is most likely the retracement setup, either retracing to a 20-period moving average or to a 50-period moving average. But please keep in mind that the setup is not the most important condition on a trade. The most important condition is the plan, because the difference between being profitable or not being profitable, it's how you manage your risk, where you put your initial stop loss, and where you take profits and where you add to your trade. So basically keep in mind that the setup is not sufficient. You really need to get more information, more education beyond what I'm mentioning here. Those are just examples on how to use technical analysis to improve your trading results or your investing results. Well, thank you very much for watching, and we'll be back again tomorrow.